You wouldn't ache for something you couldn't become.
Dream big, because your future self can afford it.
Dream big.
Allow yourself to dream big dreams.
The magic of thinking big.
Dream big, because your future self can afford it. Dream big, because your future self can afford it. Some of you have been shrinking your dreams to fit your current situation. You look at your bank account, your circumstances, where you are in life right now, and you think that's the end. You think it's the limit. Well, it's not. Your future self, the one who did the work, the one who took the leap, the one who stayed consistent even when it was hard, can afford everything that you're scared to want right now. The house, the freedom, the life, the peace. So stop budgeting your dreams based on today's balance, because your future self has already written the check. Dream like they're the one paying for it, because they are.
You know, when you become successful, one of the most common questions people ask you is, if you had to do it again, what would you do different? Here's my answer. I would dream bigger. My limitation, reason I'm only a billionaire in Australia because of the exchange rate, is I didn't think bigger. My capacity for imagining this life, I didn't have that capacity. I really believe a mind, once expanded, can never go back to its original size. Dream big, but work your ass off.
Anybody that tells somebody not to dream too big has it completely flipped. The biggest problem in the world is people dream too small.
100%. But I have to ask you, what is your opinion on being realistic?
I love realism. I'm practical as out here. But I never had anybody say to me, don't dream too big. You know why? When I would talk about shit that didn't look obvious, that I buy the jets and shit like that, I was doing shit that made them scared to tell me not to dream too big. When I hear people get told you're dreaming too big, I get concerned because I think they're talking and they're not doing shit.
The size of your dreams must always exceed your current capacity to achieve them. If your dreams do not scare you, they are not big enough. If you start off with a small dream, you may not have much left when it is fulfilled, because along the way, life will test your dreams and make demands on you.
Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment.
If you see somebody that you admire, you should ask them the question, what does it cost to be you? Because they paid a price to be the person that you actually know them to be. So I have to ask you today, do you really want to grow? The difference between somebody that is good and somebody that is great and somebody that goes to the next level is the investment that they are willing to make inside of themselves. Because I believe the size of your dream should determine the size of your investment. So if you got big dreams, you should start thinking big investment. If you've got small dreams, do nothing and you'll probably make them happen anyways. I've had plenty of friends come to go, man, your social media has taken off over the last couple of years. You know what I say? I say, we've invested in it over the last couple of years. Hey man, dude, I really love your book cover. We invested in that book cover. Whatever you're impressed with, I promise you, behind it is a great investment.
You have nothing to lose, absolutely nothing. And you have everything to gain. The best thing you can do is just fail, is to really just fall flat on your face. So if anything, if you get rejected, if you don't even get an honorable mention or any of that crap, that's more juice for your art. That's more inspiration.
And what do you plan to do if this dream of yours doesn't work out?
That doesn't even enter my consciousness.
I'm really in pursuit of greatness.
And I'm obsessed with being the best version of myself. And that's a daily thing. And you know what? People give up right before they get what they always wanted to get. People quit and they give up. And I'm not the type of person that's going to quit before I get what I want to have.
You think the universe gave you impossible dreams to torture you? No. The desire and the capacity arrive together. You wouldn't ache for something you couldn't become. The longing itself is evidence of possibility. Your dreams aren't cruel jokes. They're invitations. Your nervous system doesn't generate yearning for impossibilities. Every deep desire has corresponding neural pathways waiting to develop. The want and the way are packaged together. You just can't see the way until you start walking. Notice how solutions appear after you commit, not before. Resources show up once you start moving. People arrive when you need them. That's not coincidence. It's response to your energetic decision. The universe matches your movement with support. That terror you feel about your dreams, it's not warning you away, it's confirming importance. Your nervous system only activates fear around things that matter. Indifference is the opposite of calling, not fear.
I am a product of unrealistic thinking. Ultraman was unrealistic. Marquis Jet, unrealistic. Zico, unrealistic. Getting a record deal, unrealistic. Getting a book deal, I went 0 for 14, someone gave me, was unrealistic. Everybody in my life, every single step of every one of my ventures, people said it was unrealistic. Start small, blah, 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 blah. Unrealistic thinking gets unrealistic results. How, if you were to strip that from her because you thought it was too big or too much on her plate or whatever, how could she be a superstar? She wants to be a superstar. She wants to do something unrealistic. Don't take that away from her.
You don't build wealth by playing small. If you have big dreams, you got to take big action. One of my favorite books I ever read was Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within. And what Tony teaches there is not simple motivation. It's the fact that if you don't dream big and set goals and know what you want, you'll probably never accomplish it. So you have to go out and figure out what it is you want. One of the biggest regrets I'd always say I have is I don't think I dreamed big enough, and I'm trying to work on that still. And a lot of times we're all guilty of saying, I don't really need these things. And then we see somebody else's accomplishment and say, I should have done that. And you don't want to have that. So one, I highly recommend you get the book because it's incredible for motivation. It's incredible for teaching you how to set up goals and guidelines. However, more importantly, Tony teaches is that if you do set a goal, like if you hit a certain threshold, you're going to take a vacation or buy a car, you must follow through, because if you don't, your brain and your subconscious mind doesn't understand where the reward was. So dream big, set huge goals, have targets, and when you win and you accomplish it, get what you deserve. Buy yourself the toy.
I remember I was that kid who wrote my goals down of what I wanted to do, of what I wanted my life to be. I literally wrote it down. I was like, this is what I want to do. And I remember being 4 years old and laying in bed and going, I want to make movies. You know, sometimes I'd tell a couple of people my dreams and stuff, and sometimes it was too much for people to have. They just didn't understand it and they invalidated it or whatever. So I just was like, okay, it's okay. I'm not going to say it anymore, but I know the dreams that I have.
How is it going to feel when your dreams become a reality? Go there. You go there. Whatever it is. Governor, congressman, senator, billionaire, millionaire, founder of a company, taking a company public, the house, the yacht, the boat, the trips, the travel, the accolades, the respect, the comment from your mom, your dad, your teacher, your professor, your enemy, your competitor, whatever it may be. Big audition. How's it going to feel? In that moment, if you can convince yourself that feeling is so insanely good, then you would be willing to pay the price that the man needed for your big dreams to become a reality. At one point, we all have to answer 4 questions. How big are your dreams? How demanding are your dreams? Are you willing to meet that demand? And how's it going to feel if those dreams become a reality? If the answer to those questions are very big, you write them out. Very demanding, you write them out. I'm willing to meet the demand, go do it. And I want to experience because I think it's going to feel incredible, then you go pay the price and eventually your big dreams are going to become a reality.
I feel like if you think too small, you're actually disrespecting God, because small goals don't require any faith. So if all you ever do is attempt things that are capable in your own power, you basically told God that you don't need him. And at that point, God isn't required anymore. He's optional. But when you set a massive goal and you attempt to do something outside of your capability, now God has room to move. God loves big dreams because big dreams give God space to reveal who he is and reveal his power. So stop playing it safe and stop disrespecting the size and the magnitude of your God by shrinking your vision. The size of your goal is a direct reflection of the size of your faith. So if your goal doesn't intimidate you, it probably insults him. Hebrews 11:6 says, and without faith, it is impossible to please him. So ask yourself, do my current goals require faith, or am I only attempting to do things that are capable in my own power?
You need to dream big because God can fund it. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about provision, connections, time, and favor, all of that. A lot of people dream small because they only think about what they can afford. But when God is involved, the math change. Okay, you worry about how when God worried about when. Your job is not to downsize the vision so it feel comfortable for you. Your job is to stay obedient, disciplined, and aligned. And if God put it on your heart, he already factored in the cost. So stop shrinking what he gave you just because you don't see the resource yet. Dream big, stay faithful, and understand that God can fund anything.
You can't tell me nothing about what God can't do. God do the impossible, man. See, I expect great things to happen to me, even in the midst of trouble. I dare you to start writing everything down you want. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you to call. You, look, man, if you call out God on his word, you better be ready, because you're about to get checked. Oh, yeah. If you call him out on his promise, he gonna check you. I've been checked over and over and over till I got it. I don't even fool around no more. I go to God, I ask him for it. Then I write it down. Maybe you just want $100,000 a year. Put it down. Maybe you're just trying to do something nice for your kids or your grandkids. Write it down. How much you want to make a year? How much would you like to see in a savings account? Write this stuff down. This is critical information. It's not a magic trick, man. Quit tripping. This is real. This is how it works. Rich people do this all the time. We ain't out here just making paper because we that good at it and God love us more than he love you. That ain't why we getting it. We getting it because we understand the principles of success and we apply them to our life. Don't let these rich people out here fool you. All these people out here got vision boards. They might not tell you about God, but that's their problem. I don't do nothing without mentioning him because I would be nothing without him. I'm awash without the Lord. Do you hear me? I'm nothing without him. I'd still be living in the car if it wasn't for him. But he came and he got me because I kept asking him over and over and over and over.
If you're ambitious, if you want to become successful, if you have big dreams, big goals, big aspirations, and you want to live a big life, you are going to have to become very comfortable with the people around you criticizing you, okay? These people who make fun of you, who talk shit about you, who make snide remarks, these people, when you have gone on and accomplished what it is you're going to accomplish, these people will still be exactly where they are today.
This is what most people do. And this had just happened to me 6 months ago. I'm in a friend of mine's house in Beverly Hills. It's a $35 million mansion. So it's this gorgeous mansion, and he lets me stay there. So I'm staying there, and I had some friends over, and I said, you know, we should get a plane. We should get like a Challenger 350. So I think it's a $50 million plane. And one of the people there said, when we have the money, then we'll talk about that. And I said, that's the point. That's what losers do. What you have to do is when you don't have the money, then you start dreaming big, because that's the only way that the universe is going to put money into your life. What most people do is they have dreams, but they don't even look at their dreams anymore. What they do is they look at their income and they go, I make this much money, what can I do? And the amount of money they make determines their ability to think or imagine or dream. That's not what wealthy people do. In order to expand your field, expand your capability, to get things off the radar screen, to start coming into your life, to open up the windows of heaven if you're a Christian and have blessings come in, what you have to do is you have to dream big. Scripturally, it says a man without a vision will perish. A man without a dream will die. You have to dream big. Yeah. So you have to think really big. There's a great book that I recommend everybody read called The Magic of Thinking Big. Yeah. So you have to think big.
The fact is that when you start dreaming big dreams, you know what happens? Is your self-concept goes up, your self-esteem goes up. The very fact that you allow yourselves to dream big dreams causes you to feel better about yourself, see yourself better, think of yourself better, and it starts the process of making yourself unstoppable. You become unstoppable. People with big dreams that they're absolutely committed to are unstoppable human beings. It's people with little dreams and no hopes and no plans beyond tomorrow and next week. These are easy people to stop. But people that have big dreams to make wonderful lives for themselves, they're phenomenal. Allow yourself to dream big dreams, and then determine exactly what it is that you want out of life in every area and in every dimension. Decide what's right before you decide what's possible. Imagine that you could be or have or do virtually anything that you really want to, as long as you know exactly what it is. First, make up a dream list. Temporarily imagine that you have no limitations of time, money, knowledge, contacts, experience, or education. Imagine that anything that you can write down is possible for you. Remember, anything that you can clearly define and crystallize on paper is probably possible if you want it long enough and hard enough, and if you're willing to make whatever efforts and sacrifices are necessary.
Neuroscience is literally proving that it is good for us to dream big. It's good for us to have really big, unrealistic goals. Reason number one, when you let yourself dream big, when you let yourself get your hopes up and really start imagining your desires as already yours, your brain gets more dopamine. And dopamine is our motivational chemical. So you literally start getting more motivation to go after your goals if you have bigger goals. Your brain also has something called the confirmation bias. And when you're imagining yourself winning, when you're imagining yourself receiving all of your goals and your dreams, your brain's confirmation bias is going to go to work and start proving to you and showing you evidence in your reality that it is possible for you.
If you want to kill a big dream, tell it to a small-minded person. I told everybody at 10 years old I was going to be on TV. I had a little problem when I said that. I had a severe stuttering problem. So when I wrote on that paper, the assignment was write on a piece of paper what you want to be when you grow up. I'm 10. I wrote I want to be on TV. That was that faith, the belief in things that you cannot see. Teacher called me to the front of the class. She said, look at you standing there. You can't even talk. How they gonna put somebody like you on TV? So every Christmas, I send her a flat screen TV.
There's a good quote from you about what you said to children. For children, you said, don't listen to anyone who tells you you can't achieve something. Dream the impossible. What was your impossible dream?
Getting to Formula 1, winning world championship.
Which you have done.
Yeah. Having a platform to connect with people in a positive way. You know, I never thought that I would be a part of creating more diversity within the sport, within the industry, within companies that I work with. Yeah, I think you dream as big as you can, and you can have as many dreams as you want and chase them all.
Never forget, success is not an accident. And obviously you want to be successful, so the question is, how do you start? Well, you know, everything starts with a dream. So my advice is that when you dream, don't dream small, dream big. Because if you don't dream, it won't happen. Because you have to dream first for it to come true. You know, everything starts with a dream, and the bigger the dream, the more impossible it can seem. But you know, the impossible dream is the way to begin. People will say to you, you're crazy. You'll never do that. It's impossible for people like you. But as long as you can dream, it's possible. Anything and everything is possible. They told Richard Branson when he was 16, his dream of being a multimillionaire was pie in the sky. Impossible. Look at him now. If he can, so can you. So how do you go from the impossible dream to dreaming and then achieving what is possible? Because you always say to yourself, every day, I am going to make my dream come true, and one day it won't just be possible, it'll become probable. You've gone from the impossible to the possible to the probable. And you're now going to go on to the actual achievement. And that is the power of the dream. It's the dream of success. Now the key is, what is success for you? Because unless you know, you won't do what it takes. Funnily enough, it almost always involves money. However, I want you to think on this. What money does is to buy you the time to decide how far away from the life you're living now you want to be. And if you know that, absolutely nothing will stop you now. Nice to talk to you.
Here's the thing, you just have to write down your dream and then write down a list of how do you accomplish them. What do I need to do? What do I need to learn to be able to accomplish those goals? And that's what I do. I don't just sit there and worry about it. I just start doing it. And don't be so worried if you're afraid. It's like, okay, I feel it. It's like, that's fine. Just keep working through it. Really, the fear you feel is the unknown. It's what you don't know. and just kind of recognize that it's okay not to know, and work towards a knowingness of things. And the only way to do it is not to be in your head on it, but just to start looking, go out and start doing it one step at a time. When I'm training people or I'm training myself, I'm always thinking I'm going to learn how to crawl before I walk, walk before I jog, jog before I run, run before I sprint, and then I sprint out of a plane or off a cliff before I do that. So